Hello friends, welcome back to our channel ML for Analytics and welcome back to this playlist DAX ODC. So friends, as you remember, if you have seen our previous video, so we have covered filter context in the previous video. Now in this video, we are going to talk about row context. So we will define what is row context and what are the scenarios or what are the use cases where row context exists. So let's get started. So friends, I have opened my Power BI desktop now, and as you can see on my screen that I have opened the report view, and we have one visual on the report view on the left hand side. That is a normal card visual we are using, and on the right hand side on the fields pane you can see that I have imported the same tables which we have imported in the previous video. That is few tables from the AdventureWorks data warehouse. So friends, let's define the row context. So friends, if I have to define the row context in just one line, then I would say that the row context iterates. That's it. Okay, now you might say that what kind of definition is this, or how can we define the row context in just one line? So basically, the purpose of me defining the row context in one line by saying that the row context iterate, it means that the purpose of row context is just to iterate on the tables or iterate on the rows, whether you are using them in the calculated column or in the measures. So as we already studied the filter context, so two things to remember: filter context filters and row context iterates. And the second thing to most important thing to remember is that they never mingle with each other. They are two different contexts that are simultaneously existing at the same time if you are using both. So it depends on the scenario. You might be using only filter context in one scenario, or you might be using only row context, or both. So we'll see those use cases in this video, and let's start with the first one. Suppose you want to create a calculated column. So as we have created calculated column so many times, so let's see for one more time how calculated column works actually. So we'll just see that. So let me go to the fact internet. Let me just select fact internet sales table, and I will go to the data view, and I will select the fact internet sales table. Okay, so friends, now you can see that fact internet sales table is open. So these are all the columns which are already present in the fact internet sales. So I have created one extra column. You can say that this, you can see gross margin. So let me show you the code for this, the DAX code for this. So it's a very simple code. You can see that I have just taken the difference of sales amount minus total product cost. So now it is giving me the difference, that the gross margin for each sales, right? So this is the formula. Now friends, let us think how this calculation is being done. So what if I say that here is a row context which is existing? So friends, this is correct. Actually in calculated column there is an implicit row context. You don't have to define any row context manually explicitly here. Whenever you create a calculated column, an implicit row context triggers, or it is present already, which actually does the calculation. So basically the row context knows that on which row it is calculating the value. So if I just want to give you an analogy with SQL Server database or any other thing, so you might have heard about the concept of cursors in SQL database. So cursor is what, like the position, the current position on the current row where the particular loop or particular thing is iterating, right? So the same concept lies here. So row context, you can actually relate it to the cursor, that the row context knows in which row it is currently calculating the value. So similarly here, as you can see here, so suppose as we wrote this formula and we press the OK button, so what happened? The row context triggered and it started calculating the gross margin for each row. Okay, so independently, and it happens independently. So what happened? It took the value of sales amount and total products cost for this row and calculated, and similarly for all the columns. So friends, this is in this way the basically row context calculates the value in the calculated column. And you must remember one very important thing here, that whenever you create a calculated column, the values are calculated at the data refresh time. So no filter context exists while while creating a calculated column. So this thing needs to be remembered in mind. So I'm repeating once again that no filter context exists while creating a calculated column, only an implicit row context, because the data is being calculated at the data refresh time. Okay. Now it is different in case of visuals. Whenever you creating a table visual or matrix visual, so that is the that is not at the data refresh time. You can say that is after the data has already been being brought into the model, then you are creating the visual, right? So that is a different thing. So this is calculated column is calculated at the data refresh time, and then that value doesn't change. Now in case of table visual, the value obviously changes as and when the filter context changes. Here the value will remain the same because now it has become an integrated part of the model, you can say. Now this value is static. Once the value has been calculated at the data refresh time for a calculated column, that value will not change. Okay, so that is the thing to be remembered. Now coming to the second scenario, we have seen the scenario here that whenever we create a calculated column, an implicit row context exists. Now let's go to another use case where we will use row context inside a measure. So what I will do is, as you can see on my screen, I have a card here. So I will open the code for the measure which I have used in this card. So it's a pretty simple measure, and we have seen already this measure multiple times in our previous videos. It's a normal, we are calculating the sales amount. So I'm using SUMX function, iterating over the fact internet sales table, multiplying the order quantity by unit price, and then summing up all the values, so which gives me the total sales amount, right? So now as you can see here, the total sales amount number isn't being shown. Now friends, the main point which I wanted to discuss here is that we are creating a row context here. So how we are creating? As I told, that we are using a iterator function. We are using an iterator function here, SUMX. So all the iterator functions, they when iterate, they basically create a row context. Okay. So now here we are explicitly creating a row context in the measure. So that's why, when we are iterating over the fact internet sales, and here we are directly referencing to the column of the table, directly referencing. We are not using any aggregate function on this function, right? So we are directly referencing the column. So how we are able to reference this? Because we are in the iteration, we are in the row context now. So basically what happens is, whenever this function gets triggered, so it will first, based on the filters, whatever filters we have used in the report, this table will be created. The first argument will always be evaluated before the row context starts. Okay, so the first argument of any iterator function, the row context will not start immediately. What will happen is, first the table will be evaluated based on the current filters of the report. So maybe I have placed a filter on, suppose I am using a slicer, and I have placed a filter, suppose on a color. So I only want to see the sum of sales amount for the colors which are black or red. So what will happen is, when I will select that color, this particular table will get filtered, and it will only show the sales of those colors, right? Then the SUMX will start a row context, and based on that row context, it will evaluate the second argument. So basically the second argument of the iterator function, the SUMX function, will be calculated inside a row context, and then once the row context finishes, it performs all the calculation, then it will return the sum. So in this way, basically you are creating a row context. So friends, one very important point to remember here, you can create a row context programmatically using iterator functions, and this is the only way to create a row context. Basically, filter context can be created by many other ways, like you can use a slicer, you can do page level filter, report level filter, visual level filter. There are so many ways to create a filter context, but whenever it comes to user action, there is only one way to create a row context, that is using DAX code. Otherwise, one implicit row context exists while creating the calculated column, and there is no other way of creating row context. One is implicit, and the explicit way is to only create row context using the iterator functions in the DAX code. So friends, we have mostly covered the introduction of row context, and let's now jump on to some important points which are related to the row context. So let me just jump to the important points. Okay, so friends, as you can see on my screen, let's discuss all the important points one by one. So first point is row context iterates over the table in a calculated column. This we have already discussed. DAX creates an implicit row context in case of calculated column. It is like a cursor as in SQL. There is no need to manually create a row context. So all these points I have already mentioned. It's just a reminder for you. You can note it down maybe. I will also copy all these points in the description as I've been doing in my previous videos. Coming to the next point. The row context refers to a particular row in the DAX code at any given point in time. This I have also mentioned that whenever the row context is doing its work, it will always refer to a particular row at any given point in time like a cursor. Okay. Third point is it is different from the row of the underlying table. The data presented in the table or matrix visual is the result of filter context, not the row context. No, friends, here is the confusion. So that's what I also mentioned in between the video also while discussing the calculated column, that the table which is already a part of data model like dim employee, dim geography, these are tables which are part of data model, and the tables which are the visuals you are building, the table visual or matrix visual, those are not these kind of tables. Those are just a visual which are showing you the aggregated data, right? So there the filter context was in that particular table visual, not the row context. So not to be confused with that, we have already discussed this in the previous video. If you have not seen that video, we created a table visual and a matrix visual in the filter context, and we showed how filter context works inside the table or matrix visual, right? Now coming to the fourth point, apart from the implicit row context in calculated column, there is only one way of creating a row context, which is using iterator functions in DAX. Friends, this is again the same point I mentioned in the while giving the demo. I'm again repeating this point. Another point is measure does not have an implicit row context. It can be started using an iterator function. Friends, this is again a very important point, that measures does not have an implicit row context like calculated column. So in case of calculated columns, we saw that there is an implicit row context which is triggered when the calculated column is computed, right? But in case of measure, unless you use an iterator function, there is no implicit row context. Row context will not exist in itself, and you cannot reference a column name directly of a particular table without creating a row context, right? You can use the column name inside an aggregator function like sum, average, but not directly. You can try that and you will get an error. So maybe we can just I'll just show you. So what I can do is, if I just select this, if I just try to do this much only, so now you can see that cannot find name order quantity. So why it is not able to find? I am referencing directly the column name, right? So because the reason is that there is no row context existing here, so it is not able to find the column name directly unless I use an aggregation function or any aggregated function. So this is the important point which needs to be remembered. And the last point is, row context is not a special type of filter context. It never filters the model. Filter context filters and row context iterates. So friends, this was the first point which I mentioned in the starting of the video, that if I have to define the row context in one line, that row context iterates. It is not a filter and it will never filter the model. It is not a special type of filter context. Those are two different things, filter context and row context, and they exist simultaneously at any given point in time, and they never mingle with each other, provided you are using both. So as I mentioned that you can use a filter context at any given point in time, row context, or both, but they will not interfere with each other, and they will do their work separately and quite efficiently. Okay, so friends, with this we come to the end of this video. Hope you liked it. So if you have any questions regarding row context or filter context, which we have already discussed in the previous video, you can post your questions in the comments below and we'll answer your questions. And let us know how you're liking this video. So we'll continue this particular series of evaluation context. There are many more topics to come, and we'll see you in the next video. So take care and goodbye.